I guess we should get into this. Call the meeting to order, roll call. Alan Isbeth's here.
Linda Baker, present.
Noel Pina, present.
And Bruce, I know Bruce was planning to be on tonight, but maybe he'll join us later. We do have a quorum, so we can proceed with the business of the meeting. The minutes we are deferring because Noel just got them on Easter weekend and proved to be difficult to throw them together and get us all to approve it all. So we're just deferring up to the next meeting. Going into old business, let me just mention a couple things about the first two items on the agenda. 950 Falmouth Road. The big issue that we're waiting for is what the state has done for funding 950 Falmouth Road. I've heard nothing about any funding announcements and haven't heard anything about any anticipated funding announcements. So I guess that's still in the review stage and not much is happening in terms of an imminent announcement. So hopefully we'll hear about the funding results favorably for 950 Falmouth Road before the next meeting. Wampanoag Village, Evan and I had a number of attempts to get through to the tribe to in an effort to see if Wampanoag Village would be eligible to put on the subsidized housing inventory, the state subsidized housing inventory, and then count toward the 10% that we need for the state count. And after a number of frustrating attempts, we had sort of given up for a while. And just in a lark, I called last week, called Toby, Shelley Toby, who is the housing director for the tribe. And through a stroke of luck, got her on the phone. Turns out she had been taking a vacation day, but had come back into the office just for a minute to take care of some business. And that's when the phone rang. She answered it. So we actually had an excellent talk. And she said she'd be delighted to work with us on the eligibility issues with the proviso, understood that this application would in no way affect the sovereignty of the tribe. So I'm hopeful that that isn't an issue and that we can find a way around that, but that's a legal judgment. They're going to go to their attorneys. I would imagine if we have a glitch, we'll go to our legal counsel and try to figure out a way that we can get around it if there is a problem. But if there is a problem, obviously that would end that. There will be problems, assuming there is not sovereignty issues. The one we're concerned about is fair housing issues that the state would have to make a judgment on. And hopefully we can get around that in some way. I think we can get creative at some points, maybe pairing up Wampanoag Village with in some way as far as statistically counting fair housing issues, for example. Maybe we could pair it up with 950 Falmouth Road for the purposes of a fair housing determination and get around any kind of concerns that DHCD might have. I don't know what you think of that, Wayne, but that's just off the top of my head, creative thinking. Maybe we won't have a fair housing issue at all. We won't have to consider that solutions like that. But that's sort of what we're anticipating. So Evan and Shelley and I were planning to hold a Zoom session sometime over the next month. We may need to wait until after the tribal election on May 15th, I believe it is. And once that settles down, the leadership settles down, we can have a session and start talking about what we might do about determining whether the Wampanoag Village would be eligible for the Mashpee Subsidized Housing Index.
Great.
Okay.
Great progress.
Yes.
Well, just getting a hold of Shelley was. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Wayne.
Oh, no, it's always been difficult to get a hold of someone in charge over there. So I'm glad you did, and I'm certainly willing to get involved in that Zoom meeting if you'd like as well, so.
Terrific. I'd love to have that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So that brings us to Mashpee Commons on the agenda. And I had asked Wayne to give us a presentation as far as we could, knowing that this is still at the very general stage, but there has been a submission to the Cape Cod Commission. So Wayne, do you want to sort of say what?
Yeah, I checked in to see what we could and couldn't say because it is been filed with the Cape Cod Commission. So in March of 2020, the Mashpee Commons filed a notice of intent to enter into an development agreement with the town and Cape Cod Commission for the development expansion. The full Cape Cod Commission voted at the time to determine the proposal eligible for the development agreement. The Commons had 1 year from that vote in March to file its application for development agreement. In early March of this year, about a month, a little less than a month ago, Mashpee Commons filed its application with the Cape Cod Commission. Shortly thereafter, the Commons requested the Board of Selectmen formally vote to join the process as a participating party. This will be the first tripartite development agreement in the region. The Selectmen voted unanimously to join and participate in the as a participating party. Next steps are to discuss essentially the rules of engagement. For lack of a better term, the Town Commission and Commons will discuss how the process will function. Ultimately, the Commons proposes a new zoning overlay district with 3 zones: core, transitional, and edge. Each represents variable densities and uses for the use and the technicalities, and specifically remains to be discussed, vetted, and scrutinized by the planning board and other interested parties. Next steps will be forthcoming. The planner met with the commission and the Commons on 4/1 to discuss the process. So as we know more, Alan, we will get to it and bring it to you guys so you know. But there were no specifics, even though there were some reported in the paper as far as what development might look like. That was put out ahead of schedule. It should not have been in there because nothing has been decided as far as what they're going to do, what their intent is, how many affordable housing, all of that stuff is yet to be determined.
Okay.
All right.
I have a couple of questions. I don't know if any
Sure.
committee members have any questions. One is, did the application that they submitted contain any sense of timetable? Is this over 10 years, over more than 10 years?
I believe it's a 30-year agreement. And there was some question on that raised by Selectman Whedon, because I think our rules say 20 years, and we're looking into that. So it may be that even though they're looking for a 30-year agreement, it may have to be scaled back a little.
Okay.
So this is a long-term long-term process.
And the other one is, has there been any decisions made locally about who's representing the town of Mashpee?
The planning board members will be representing Mashpee with a 1 or 2 members of the Board of Selectmen will be on that.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I have. Is there any other questions for Wayne about this? Noel or Melinda?
No, I don't have any.
This is probably preliminary, but I'll ask anyway. Is there a schedule for, is there any more, well, I know there'll be some more community engagement during the process.
Yes.
Is there anything scheduled as yet, just to start it off, or is all that still being determined as well?
No, all that's being determined. No, it's
Yeah.
it has not been at this point. I know that Evan, the town planner, and the planning board will be the first to be notified. And I know there's going to be quite a few public hearings, but nothing has been scheduled yet because the rules of engagement aren't in place yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Okay,
And then if you want me to go on, Alan, on the next subjects, are you all set?
yeah, why don't you continue, so we get your business get your business out of the way. And so the next one is discussion of sites that we wanted to hear might be eligible or of interest for affordable housing.
Yep. I know that the Board of Selectmen, and Alan was just informed of this today, so he's not up to speed necessarily on it, but the Affordable Housing Trust is going to meet on Monday, this coming Monday, to discuss 950 Falmouth Road a little further, because there is some monies that we have to provide to them, or some as our portion of the 950 project. We also are looking at a piece of property over off of Commercial Street across from the medical center. There's 6.5 acres. Is that right, Alan? I think it's 6.5.
Yeah, I've heard 6.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
That we're looking for workforce housing to be put into that area if at all possible, and what we need to do to bring that forward. The trust will be involved with that. But however, once that trust makes that decision, it'll be coming back to your board to try to work through the details, the RFPs, rank them, similar to what we did before, Alan, on 950. Sure, that's going to come back. There's still not much interest, Alan, as much as I know you hate to hear it, regarding Old Barnstable. They still have some.
That comes as a big surprise.
So I know you and I have talked about it, and I think I still think it's a viable project, and I think it will come to fruition eventually. I don't know if you and I will be alive by then, Alan. I hope so. But I know that I really believe that once 950 is up and running and people see what it does and what it accomplishes, I think it's going to be an easier sell for Old Barnstable at that point. Because I think people are afraid of affordable housing. Unfortunately, that stigma still is in their minds, and I don't understand it, to be honest, but I think people think it's going to be high rises like in, Brockton or Boston or somewhere with broken windows and, brick buildings, and it's couldn't be further from the truth. But so I think if we can get once we get 950 up and going, I think we'll have a better sell on Old Barnstable. We're continuing to try to find out more housing. We're always open to giving land to Habitat for Humanity in their projects. I know they've got 2 that they're completing. You must be working on it, Alan, no? Or
we have Beth here to give us a report on it, so.
Good. So I know those are going well. I know I've seen them going up, and they look great. I think Habitat for Humanity does such a great job in town, and I think, what is it, 13 or 15 homes now through.
I think it's 21 is what you said.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right, we're getting up there.
Yeah. So, and I think we've been in good partnership with them. I think we only had one issue that I can remember, but that was back when I was a selectman. So I do remember the Monomoskoye issue we had, but overall, great partnership between the two, and I hope we continue doing that.
I certainly agree. Yeah.
But as far as affordable housing, we're always in search for property and land that we can do that with, but we're also looking at the sewer tie-ins and things like that that are really starting to, that are expensive, and we have to kind of balance where can we go. But affordable housing, without that, what's the point of the sewers? I mean, we need to have places for people to live that work here and some are here. So hopefully we'll get some more land in that aspect. But I think the 6 acres will be a great start. If we can do something similar to what we're doing at 950, it'll put a good dent there. And then whatever happens with Mashpee Commons and their work and what they're doing, I think, I know when Bud was on here, Alan, I know he was talking about, he'd like to see some of that affordable housing come on sooner than later. because it seemed like the Commons was holding off on the affordable and getting the market price in. And I think we got to get that balance and work with them to do that, a better job of that.
Right, well, they do have 20 more units to do on their 40B project, and
Right.
they have indicated to me that although they're finding some economic trouble in doing that, that they do not consider the project over until they get the entire 52 built and occupied. So that was encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that there's going to be a significant part of the development agreement that makes a commitment for affordable housing as well. And we'll see about that. So
I agree, and I think it's to their benefit, really, Alan. Those shops and those people, shopkeepers there need people to be able to work for their buildings. So to have them right there where they're on site, it would be a big plus for them as well, I think.
I
So,
think great. Yeah. So we'll see what they can do.
yeah. So that's where I am on this. I don't know if you have any other questions, Alan, of me on this, but that's where we are at the moment. And the trust meeting is on Monday. I encourage your committee to kind of watch that. It is a Zoom meeting, and it'll be on television on 18, and you know, just to see what we're doing and hear straight from the group.
Well, I certainly will
Yeah.
be part of the meeting. And I encourage Noel and Melinda to join us as well as observers. So that'd be great. Did one of you have something to say about that?
I will definitely watch it at some point. Maybe not right at the meeting time, but I will definitely watch the recording or whenever.
Same.
The recording, I know, will be right up on the website the next day.
That's great.
Yep. Get up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. That brings us to Habitat for Humanity and Mendes Way.
Sure. I'm
Beth?
happy to give a report. And I think too, before I share with you an update, I just wanted to let you know, if at any time you want to go over to the site, certainly you are welcome to walk around yourselves, but I can meet you there and we can have a very safe visit to the site. So please keep that in mind. I'd be happy to come down and do that. So just updating from the report that I think Melinda gave for me last month. The homes are indeed all weather tight. The solar panels have been installed. We have number 8 has the meter on, and we're just waiting for the permission to operate letter, which once we have that, we'll hit the switch and we will be a solar powered work site, which is exciting. And of course, it's exciting for the future owners as well. Number 4 is just a little bit behind. So the solar panels are installed there as well, but we're waiting for Eversource to come and put the meter in. But that should be any day, perhaps by the end of this week. In number 8, in addition to the HVAC being complete, we now have the plumbing and electrical complete. That's the rough plumbing and electrical complete. And in number 4, the electrical is complete. The plumbers are presently continuing to do the rough-in plumbing. We had to wait a little longer than we anticipated for a special tub and shower unit because in that unit we need to provide for some accommodation. So it just took a little bit longer, so it delayed us slightly. We are really in good shape, all things considered. And the one thing that we've had some issue with has been the plumbers. They've been a little bit behind for the reason I just mentioned, but more so due to COVID. And unfortunately for them, they had some outbreaks. So we had to wait until workers went through their quarantine period to get back on the job. So at this moment, we're waiting for the plumbing and electrical inspection. But likely Bob Riley, our director of construction, said that could come by the end of the week, early next week. And then after that, then we'll be looking for a framing inspection. And following that, we'll begin to insulate. So we're in good shape, as I said. We had hoped to be done by the end of June. I think what we're looking at right now is probably a July completion with a late July or early August dedication. So I think, again, all things considered, we're pretty much on track and a very slight delay.
That's great.
How ener-
Fantastic.
how energy efficient are they, Melinda?
They're very energy efficient, Wayne. These particular 3-bedroom ranch homes, we've had HERS ratings at the time of the CO that have been anywhere from, depending on the site and the capacity of the solar, from like -15 to +4. So often we have a net zero possible home. It always depends on the consumer after they move in, you know? So,
And
but
that's weather. So, yeah. Well, that's
So we're-
great. That's
we're
great.
pretty proud of that. And we're continuing to work to stay ahead of the curve, sustainability wise, energy efficiency wise, and trying to go beyond what's required. So ultimately it's to keep it super affordable.
Well, they look fabulous. I think you did a good job fitting them and siting them. I thought they really looked nice. It doesn't feel like they're really crowded. So
No, it doesn't. I was there last week. We are working with the owner to the left of the property. And I should be able to say north, right? Or whatever it is, west or east, but I'm looking at it from Great Neck Road to the left. And so I was on site, and we're putting up a fence there and some plantings. And so I think everyone is, you know, from my standpoint, I'm the one that takes those kind of calls if there's any concerns that anyone has. And it's been really problem free. And the little tiny things that we've needed to tweak have been easy to do. So I think everyone's happy.
That's great. That's
Sounds
great. And the families are excited, I'm sure. They're putting their time in. Yeah.
They are putting their time in. This, because of COVID, it's been a little bit different. And there's been some more work being done, I believe, at the restore, you know, and kind of trying to combine both restore work and on the site work. So that's been a little modification, but they're putting in their hours. And as I said at another municipalities meeting last night, you know, we certainly feel that's the key, and there's no closing if those hours aren't put in. So.
Oh, that's great. You know, they got to have a sense of ownership for doing their own work in it. So that's great. I like it.
It really builds community, and it does. It gives that real pride of ownership and, you know, on the job experience. You know, so many people come, they don't even, you know, they've never used a hammer before or a screwdriver. And by the end, they're asking for their own drill or something.
Well, that's really great.
To watch that emergence from them of capacity and initiative, you know, and they certainly have shown it themselves from their, you know, taking the initiative to do the application process, which is kind of grueling. So I'm, you know, obviously I'm prejudiced because I work for them, but I do it because I really truly believe in what we're doing and the organization. So I really appreciate all of you.
Well, it's good that you build the confidence of the homeowner too, to help him or her figure out how to work the tools, or how is this put together. So when it comes time to do something themselves, they're not intimidated. So good job on your part, your crew.
Thank you. Thank you. So any other questions?
I have one.
Sure.
The solar panels, do they feed the electrical needs of the two homes directly, or do they feed power into the grid and then take it from the grid?
So there's net metering credit that we sign them up for. They have each home, is separate, and they are going to, on sunny days, draw their electric directly from the solar panels. And typically what we've been seeing is during the sunny months, our homes are overproducing. And so they're able to bank those credits towards the future bills. So for example, recently I was looking at some bills for an owner in Paul Hush Way in Brewster, and they had collected enough credits so they were able to get all the way through January with zero balance. Essentially, I mean, each month there was a credit balance until then. And, during the darker, colder months, oftentimes they're pulling from the grid, Alan.
Okay, so when the panels feed the grid, that's what's producing the credits.
Correct.
And those the amount of electrical energy that's going into the grid is metered. So that's how they measure it.
That's
So
correct.
that all works out. Okay, I get it.
That's right. Yep.
All right, that's exciting, very exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you all for your part in it. It's tremendous and it's huge. And I just wanted to say a very quick hello, Arden. It's good to see you.
Hello to you. Happy to see you.
Good to see you, Arden. Okay.
Let me know if you want to go on to the site in any way at any time. I'm happy to do it.
I certainly like to take you up on it. Probably a couple, 2-3 weeks from now, maybe something like that.
That sounds great. I'm getting
Yeah.
my first COVID shot tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations
Oh.
on that. Terrific. Yeah.
I have some time off at the end of April, so maybe we could coordinate and do
I would
one
love
time.
that.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to
That
do
would-
that.
Okay.
That would be terrific. Just let me know. I'll shoot you all out my cell phone number, which is the best place to reach me. So I'll send that to Alan and he can distribute it to everybody.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Everyone on the call.
I think I made a mistake at the last meeting. Or the last meeting, or the meeting before, I said people should just call me, and forgetting that this is going public.
Mhm.
Got roundly called on that one. All right. Any other questions for Beth? And if not, thank you, Beth. I really appreciate it. It's exciting to hear how things are going, and I look forward to being there and seeing it firsthand. So,
Terrific.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have
yeah.
a good night. Bye-bye all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is a item on the Barnstable Home Consortium. Arden and I have had some conversations over the last couple weeks about the role of the Home Consortium and her role as the Mashpee representative to the consortium. And I thought maybe it would be great for her to fill us in as a committee on how it works. I know 950 Falmouth Road is depending on some money from the consortium, and I think they've submitted an application, or they're about to. Arden, do you know if they've submitted the application?
I'm not entirely sure if they've submitted yet. The reason that it's pending, I think you noticed that it wasn't committed yet.
Yes.
It's because the consortium has committed all the funds that they have in hand right now. So they are waiting for their next allocation of funds, which will start on July 1, 2021. So they'll look at applications prior to that, but can't make a commitment because they don't have the funds in hand yet.
I did notice in one of the 950 Falmouth Road applications, I think they sent it to CDAC at the state for a pre-development loan. And the development pro forma showed that it was they were going to ask for $250,000. So that's sort of in sync with the set aside, and I understand that that's not.
Yes, 250 is the maximum per project allocation. From the
Okay.
Home Consortium.
All right. Okay.
So,
with that, you want to take it from here?
sure, I'll take it back a few steps. So the Home Consortium was established more than 20 years ago. The lead agency was the Cape Cod Commission at that point. The affordable housing specialists there organized the 15 towns to come together to form the consortium. We needed 15 towns to get the population base that would make us eligible. Some communities are large enough where they're their own entitlement community. So it's been in existence since then, and it has a board that oversees the allocation of the funds, and that's one representative from each of the towns, and then two at large, of which Beth Wade is one of the at-large members. So we're essentially the decision-making body for the Home Consortium. The Home Consortium only gets home funds. So home program is a federal funding source for affordable housing. So that's the only source of funds that the consortium receives. We've been, the last few years, unfortunately, only about $460,000 we've been getting allocated per year, and that's for all 15 towns. It had been up around $750 years ago, and there was a change in Washington around the desirability of the Home Consortium. Unfortunately, it got some bad press, and they started moving funds to other programs, and everybody's allocation was reduced. So we're down to about $450. Again, $250 is the maximum per project. Right now, they're only, so each year, the way the way we decide how the funding is going to get used is each year there's an action plan that is developed. And actually this month, the action plan will be available this month, April, until May for comment, and then it gets submitted in May. Really only doing rental developments. We used to do down payment assistance, but in the last couple of years, that just hasn't been effective. The amount of down payment assistance just still isn't enough for somebody at 80% of the area median to find a house that they can purchase. And obviously that problem's only gotten much, much worse. So we've really only been doing rental developments. And the process is that the application gets submitted. There's a subcommittee that really delves into the real details of the pro forma and the application. They actually have even a consultant who is Paul Ruchinskis. He used to be the person who administered the program, and now he just does the underwriting review. So the home program has very strict underwriting criteria. So we have to make sure that each application meets the criteria of the home program. And once that review is done, we get a very comprehensive staff report, and then the 17 members vote on allocating for that particular project. So that's the stage that 950 is at right now. They just submitted their application.
So is there a schedule for the review, and when are the announcements?
Not yet. I think that this month we'll be focusing on getting that action plan. You know, if you don't get it submitted by May 15th, your funds will be delayed. So this month, I'm sure that the staff person is focusing on getting that action plan submitted. So each of the representatives is appointed by their town, usually Board of Selectmen, except for Barnstable. So I was appointed about 6 years ago. I think I was recommended because I used to work for the Home Consortium. So it was a natural fit. And then I also am the housing coordinator for the town of Barnstable. So I'm very familiar with some housing issues. And really one of the main benefits of attending these meetings is that at the end, we all talk about what's going on in our towns, and you really learn a lot about strategies and creative ideas and projects that are happening and where there might be new rental units available, and keep your eye open for that. So, which is part of the reason I first contacted Ellen, was I want to stay up to date on what Mashpee is doing so that I can report back at the Home Consortium meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Let's see. The action plan, is that something that we can look at ourselves?
Yes, so I think on the 15th of April, it will be available for the public to review and read and provide comment, and the comment period will end probably around the 14th because it's due on the 15th. So yes, it will be available for everybody to look at and comment on.
So that's from April 15th to May
15th.
14th?
Probably, yeah. I'm not,
So it's
yeah.
a full month, pretty much.
There's a required 30 days. Yeah, she might
Okay.
start a little early to finish a little early, but yeah, there's a required 30-day public comment period. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to say that the funds are going to go to 10% allowed for administration, and then the rest will go for rental housing. We did talk about it. Do we want to try to start down payment assistance again? But it just didn't seem like a viable use. Oh, actually, what they this year was different. HUD allowed a home program to create an emergency rental assistance program. So like a lot of other communities on the Cape, they did create an emergency rental assistance program. So I think $100,000 went to that. When we were first putting that together, we didn't know which communities would and wouldn't have emergency rental assistance. So the goal was to focus those funds on towns that did not have their own.
Well, we have one that's underway. I don't know if that's,
Yep.
Does that mean that we could get maybe some home funds for that?
No, the home program will be administering. So HAC will be administering the home funds.
Oh, it's for HAC. Oh, I see.
We chose HAC to administer our funds. That way HAC can decide, say, I'm going to make this up. Someone from Truro, there is no rental assistance in Truro. We'll use home funds for them because the Mashpee person can get Mashpee rental assistance. So, yeah, so what I'm hearing from both Barnstable, where I work, and from the Home Consortium is there's so much rental assistance available now, federal rental money, that a lot of the local funds are not being used, which is fine as long as people are getting their rental assistance.
Yeah, that's part of the federal relief package that
It is.
went
It
through,
is.
right? Yeah.
It
Okay.
is.
Yeah,
Tons,
I was
tons of
pleased
money.
to hear
Yeah.
that. You have any questions for Arden?
I don't have any.
No, thank you for the
That's great.
explanation though. Yeah, it was really great to hear from you. I appreciate your time.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be seeing more and more projects from.
One procedural question. If, as a committee, we decided we wanted to read and comment on the action plan, and I'm not sure we would have anything to say, but if we did, would we discuss it with you? Would that be the most effective way?
Yeah, you can contact me. I'll give you the contact for. There's probably I'm sure there's a description of where those comments have to go to the staff person, but you can funnel them through me, and then I will bring them to the staff person.
Okay, terrific.
And I just want to say one other thing. The home program has not been able to assist home ownership projects. For the last, I'm going to say 10 years, there's a conflict between the universal deed rider that the state requires and the home program. And the home program cannot accept that universal deed rider. So we have been unable to assist projects like Habitat, any kind of home ownership project. So I just
Wow.
want to put a plug in for you guys to find other funding sources to help home ownership projects.
Having been involved in the nuts and bolts of this kind of a situation in the past, I want to talk to you about exactly what it is that comprises the conflict. But I'd be interested in knowing that.
Yeah, it was, years of back and forth and attorneys talking and
I'm sure, yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to take up time now, but maybe
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about exactly what that conflict is and
Yeah.
see if there's anything we can do about it. But it sounds like, I know the deed rider that Habitat uses is pretty good and pretty effective. So I'm not sure.
It is. It's just small glitches that, home program doesn't accept. So, if you can prioritize use of any funds that is available to you or through CPC or through the trust to make that pitch that, home ownership funds are really, really needed because there is no other local source.
Yeah, I bet it comes down to who's first in line, and in the event of a default, probably boils down to
It's the resale. I think the universal deed rider allows, if you can't resell it to an income eligible buyer, you can resell it to a non-eligible buyer. somebody over 80% of the median, the deed restriction still stays, but the person might be over income. And the home program will not allow that. They
Yeah,
will
of
not
course.
allow a buyer who's over income.
Wayne, that's, since you're still on, that's the problem we had with Main Street Village.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And I'm not sure how you go about fixing that one.
I
But
don't know.
yeah, anyway, Arden, thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate it.
Great,
We
I'll
will
be
in touch.
hopefully seeing more of you guys.
I
I'll be attending and
hope so.
following. Mhm.
All right.
Great. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good to see you.
Yes,
Take
you
care.
too. Thanks.
That's pretty much it for the main business of the meeting. I don't want to hold you up, Wayne, if you wanted to, if you had other commitments that you needed to attend to.
Well, if you're good with me, Alan, I'm good. And we'll talk again before Monday because we have that meeting in the trust.
Right, yes, I would like to get caught up on all that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be in the office tomorrow. Certainly give me a call.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good one. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you all. Good to see you.
Bye,
You too.
Wayne.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
The next item is pretty much the final item, is the proposed changes to the 2021 meeting schedule. And I think it boils down to a May meeting and a June meeting. The June meeting largely because the change I wanted to make to the June meeting, if it's all right with everybody. If I can find it. Actually, I know what I can do. Okay, so if we're scheduled to hold the May meeting on May 4th, which is the first Tuesday. And that, it turns out, is a problem because I will be out of town for that meeting and involved with my birthday party. So that's going to be a family event, apparently. So I would like to make the meeting on May 11th, if that's okay with everybody.
Sure,
That's fine with me.
works for me.
Okay, thank you. And because of that, I didn't want to hold the meeting on June 1st. I'm wondering if we can defer that meeting to June 8th.
Works for me.
Is that okay, Noel?
I'm just looking.
Okay,
Fine with me.
okay. So if we can, I don't think we need a vote on it. We didn't, well, I guess we did vote on the original plan. So if we want to consider that a vote, I don't know if you want to move that we change those two dates, that would be great.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great, thank you very much. And then the only other thing, there's a note in the communication announcement on the conflict of interest law training.
Yes.
Supposed to have been completed that and sent it into HR for the town of Mashpee. I don't know if you've gotten around to it. It isn't a rigid date. I know that they really like to have it done by the 8th. Not the 8th, it's by the 2nd. But if you've been late in the past, I don't think that there's been like any follow-up calls noting that you're delayed or anything. It's just an obligation on our part to do this and get the information into HR so they have it on record.
You sent it into Ashley, right? I mean, Autumn?
Autumn, yes. to
Yes, I
Autumn.
did mine already.
Okay, Autumn
I
Olson.
still have to do mine. It's on
Shame,
the
shame.
docket.
Okay.
I know. Welcome to my world.
And I think Bruce has to do his as well, so that may be why we're not seeing him today.
Oh, come on now.
No, Bruce has been having some problems with his computer, so I don't know if he's having trouble or not. I'll call him and find out. All right, so is there a motion to adjourn if there's no other business?
So moved. Motion
Um,
to adjourn.
I suppose I ought to ask if there's anybody who's calling in. not committee business. Okay.
Party business.
Yeah.
So I think the only way to get phone calls in is to have somebody who's hosting the meeting in town hall answer the calls.
Oh,
And I don't know if that's, if our IT person is there. Who is it that was on our IT call? Do you remember who it was?
Clark, was it Clark?
Clark?
That's not who Wayne said.
Maybe right, but so there is somebody on the call with a Mashpee sign. That may be Clark. Hello? Somebody listening in? No. So I think what's happened is he got us started and he took off. And I
Yeah, he's recording for you.
Yeah,
Right.
he's recording, but basically, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't need to be there anymore. So, all right, so it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye. And that's the meeting. Thank you very much for both of you. I hope
Thank
you
you.
enjoyed this meeting as
Thank
much as I did. I
Yeah, it
think-
was good.
it was very
Uh,
informative.
Yeah.
A lot
and
of good updates.
Hmm.
I'm interested in the meeting minutes for March 2nd because I know I made some commitments I can't remember at the time.
I'm gonna get to those this weekend.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. You're
All right.
welcome.
Thanks. Sue.
Happy early birthday.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.